So we finally get a win Sunday, and we played really well defensively. Really, really well. Against Wright State. Wright State's in Dayton. And they have a tremendous player named Brandon Noel. He was just a big challenge for us. So we win. Everyone piles over because the game was on campus, or on campus facility. We piled over to a bar and restaurant called the Black Sheep. And then, it was still time to go out to dinner. We went out to dinner. And everywhere you go, people are stopping, hey, way to go, way to win a game. Like, you're just feeling good. And I've always gone and seen people after we lose. But don't get me wrong, like, I don't need the pity stuff doesn't feel good either. But there's just a high, and then the high kind of wears off, and then the next day you're traveling, you got a day off, and you got things to do. So I land, and all of a sudden, there's like 30-some-odd text messages. Now, keep in mind, when we finally won, there was I counted 370 within 2 hours of the game of friends, family, other coaches, just people they just all of a sudden start filling out your phone's buzzing, and you're like, man, I got to get back to all these people. So I didn't really look at them because I was trying to do my best to. It's President's Day. There's not a lot going on. I got the day off. I'm not going to look at Twitter. I'm not going to look at my phone. I have a couple phone calls to make. So I put the phone in my pocket, and I'm driving. And all of a sudden, my buddy, Brian Montanati, calls me. He's a high school coach at Owasso High School in Tulsa. He's like, what'd you do to LeBron? I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about, dude. What do you mean? He's like LeBron just coming at you on Twitter. I was like, I haven't been on Twitter all day. Come on. I was like, I haven't been on the bird all day. I've been traveling. So I read the tweet, and it was, there's some Twitter handle called College Basketball Report who likes to troll me. And it's not like one that anybody goes to. It just somehow pops up in your feed. And it gave our previous record at 2-22 or something. And so LeBron did laughing emojis and had a little trash talk within it. And I came on yesterday, and I thought what I said still fits, right? Like, if honestly, I'm not big on what other people think of things. I'm just not. Like, if you think something's a bad look, that's on you. I'm gonna do me. That's worked for me for 49 years. I think it's gonna keep working. But I think if we're honest with ourselves, and people with LeBron for whatever reason can't be honest with themselves, like you're either Team LeBron or Team Jordan, and that means somehow you have to diminish LeBron, which I don't really understand. But if you're Team LeBron, it's like, yeah, mess with the king. And I'm not even sure what I messed with. But I think if you're honest with yourself, like, okay, he's on All-Star break. He's got a bad ankle, or so we're told. It's his day off. It's my day off. I don't know if you're worth, $500-600 million. Why are you tweeting at me on an off day? And I can only think that it's pettiness. That something popped up in his feed. I don't know. But it's like you're supposed to respond like, why? For what? Oh, you're catching strays. If Jason's a pretty good judge. So Jay, if I ever look that way, like I'm sitting at home and I'm lonely and bored on a day off, and I start trolling people and tweeting at them, please be a friend and go like, hey, dude, you feel like LeBron looked that day.
I'd say that to your face.
Of course you would.
I have zero problems with that.
Yeah.
I think this specific situation, if we were to look into this, speaks to your incredible ability to piss people off and to get on people's radar. LeBron James is one of the most famous people on earth.
I think he's probably the most famous athlete in the world.
Yes. And, there have been blogs written. I've read them all. I'm sure you have, maybe not, that speculate that it had to do with either you calling his kid a Make-A-Wish or you saying that he wouldn't start on your college basketball team. I'm guessing one of those two comments that went viral got on LeBron's radar somehow.
But months later, the college basketball thing was when Dan Patrick asked me, we talked about it in the summer, right? And just for the record, Anthony Roy is better than Bronny James. If anybody wants to dispute that, anybody like Anthony Roy when he's healthy is better than Bronny James. Now, he's older than Bronny James. And, he's only played, I think, 10 games this year. But he was averaging 27 points, leading the country in three-point and effective field goal percentage. Like, Anthony Roy is a better basketball player 6 days a week and twice on Sunday than Bronny James. It's not close. It's not close. It's not close. It's not close. Now, that doesn't mean I think Bronny wouldn't be a very good college player. And obviously, 6 months later, based upon performance, I think he would play. I think he probably would start. My thing is he's just not a point guard. And, if we want to pick and choose his G League stats, he's had a couple of good games. He doesn't look like he belongs in the NBA. And the NBA is hard, man. But, I mean, look, I'll stand by it. It's a joke that he played in the NBA. Especially, what are they doing? And everyone thinks that. My issue with it is, if that's your problem, and you're going to spend the time to tweet at me, then there's clips of that available on Twitter. Use that one. Or maybe in a timely manner. Or here's actually what you should do, which is what I've done on Twitter, which is, why does he care? Now, I actually take it as a portion of respect that plenty of people have said things about Bronny not belonging in the NBA, including many of my friends in the NBA. But I'm the one he chose to tweet at. Now, maybe that's because he respects my opinion or my opinion is respected. Maybe he thinks because he thinks it's fun and, you're like defenseless. Like, what am I going to say to LeBron James? I'm not sure. But, yeah, if that is your issue, make it your issue. And the other part to it is what I don't think everybody realizes, and this remains true, is I'm going to defend my guys over anybody. I don't care if we won 3 games. Not their fault. Not their fault. But I would love to see Jeremiah Johnson and Bronny James go head up. Do I think Bronny's improved during his time in the NBA? Yeah. He was not a good college player last year. They were a last-place team. He did not start, and when he did, they did not win. He had one kind of breakout game where I think they got smoked. Or maybe they smoked Oregon State. I can't remember. It was on the road. I watched. But look, it's hard with freshmen, and I get it. But I just what are you doing on a Monday? Blindly tweeting at somebody who 7 or 8 months ago said something you obviously disagree with.
But to your point, Doug, I think you hit on it. How many hot takers in our industry would have loved to get a retweet from LeBron James or a quote tweet? I looked at that yesterday, and 53 million Twitter followers got to see Doug Gottlieb and Green Bay in the same tweet. How many people Googled Green Bay basketball yesterday because of that tweet? To me, it's a net positive for you. I know you don't take it personally, and I know you're going to defend your guys, but in our industry, there's no real such thing as bad publicity. In fact, the fact that you got on his radar is a win in my book. Is in the content generation world, many people would like to trade places with you today.
Oh, I appreciate that. I understand that. I think what I take great pride in is I don't think it was a hot take. And it wasn't, how well, here's a question. How would you define a hot take?
I wasn't calling your take on Bronny a hot take. I honestly think that was a very genuine opinion. Genuous, is that a word? No, I was just saying that how many of the
hot takers? Yeah, they would love to.
Yeah.
They'd love to. Matter of fact, a lot of guys do that just for reaction. And I don't. I never have, and I never will. I'd like to think that's how I separate myself. Is have I had some takes which people call hot takes? Sure. Have I ticked some people off with opinions? Sure. But I believe all of them have been with the context of what my actual opinion is based upon my or somebody who's really close in the sport, whatever sport it was. In terms of opinion. And I agree with you. And that's, by the way, what my bosses at Green Bay get and what our bosses at Fox Sports Radio get, which is there's absolutely value in it. Now, I've worked at one other place that that would be shaking in their boots over that, and they would probably want me to put out an apology tweet. I'm not even kidding. One of my previous stops, it's not Fox Sports Radio, and yeah, that's
sorry.
It's kind of an interesting day, though, right? Like a nothing day in sports, and LeBron James. I don't know.
But you and I, we've had very conversations.
How good would it be for you, real quick, before you don't forget your question or your statement? But can you imagine having a day and not having anything to do? When was the last time you had a day during the week and you had nothing to do?
Yeah, it's rare.
I mean, and to think like on that day, you're like, I'm going to go on Twitter. I'm going to randomly tweet at Doug Gottlieb. There you go.
Well, I'm the king.
That would, if I lived in L.A. and I had upwards of $600-700 million in the bank, in the list of things I'd be doing, it would not make the list.
Doug, sometimes the best way to decompress is to do nothing at all. And for LeBron James, maybe nothing at all just means firing out a random tweet.
It did screw up my day, though, because I was so determined to not look at social media and not be on the bird and honestly not be texting all day just because I got a chance to have dinner with all my kids last night. And, yeah, it screwed me up.
He took more grief than you did. I don't know what the term is by Gen Z now. Is it ratioed or something? But, like, if you look at his comments, people are going after him for sending out a tweet about Doug Gottlieb when he's the one who cost some guy a chance at an all-star appearance the day before and, clean up your own house. Like, he was getting more crap for that tweet than you were.
He had dated info.
Well, yeah. All my players were like, Coach, what'd you say to LeBron? And can you tell him? They actually called me from the gym.
Now.
They called me from the gym. They're like, Coach, what'd you say to LeBron? And then can you tell him we won 3 games, not 2? They're really fun.
We're on a 1-game winning streak.
We're on a winning streak.
Let's go.
But I was about to say that you and I have had very candid conversations on the air, off the air, on our podcast about your ability to piss people off.
Yeah.
And I did not understand the depth, the line of people that were just waiting to kick you in the teeth if this thing wasn't going to work or wasn't working or you started losing. I've been surprised at how many people are really liking this. And to think that LeBron James is on that list of people just waiting in the weeds to fire off that shot, it's to me, it's incredible.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. To anyone who thinks that it's because I've treated people poorly in the industry, that's absolutely not the case. Right? That's the things I'm defensive of. Like, I've been as good a teammate as I can be. I haven't been perfect in every way, but I try and help people in the business. I try to help people get into the business. And I honestly believe that it's – do you remember what LeBron said about people who still go back to the Dallas stuff on TV and on social media? Remember what he said? What he talked about?
No.
Something
what are
about
you referring to?
LeBron. It was something about how they're really unhappy in their own lives. And I got to believe that's what a bunch of this is. Right? Why else? You have to have some level of unhappiness in your own life. And I'm not saying it's just like a LeBron or it's the grossest thing, the grossest representation of our society. And what's interesting is I've had people hop in the Instagram page, whatever, and we put out videos. And yes, I approve the videos, but I don't cut the videos, edit the videos. You know, they're like, Coach, is this okay with you? Yeah, good, go, post it. But, you know, all kinds of just ridiculous comments. And you'd be amazed, Jay Stu. I'll show you some of these DMs where I'll go like, hey, man, thanks for paying attention to my team. If you'd like tickets, let me know. And when you do that, all of a sudden they're like, hey, I've always been a big fan. I'm just messing with you, right? Like, did you read your tweet? Did you see what you wrote? It's crazy. It's crazy. So somehow Twitter has become a place where you just want to say the most vile stuff. and Instagram. The most vile stuff. And it's like everyone tries to top the other. And in terms of people lining up, like, that's all right. All of the digital footprint still exists. So Rome was not built in a day. Sammy, what do you think?
Of what part of all this? Just that he did it, or what? What specifically?
Huh?
I mean, what you mean? What do I think about what specifically? The LeBron putting that out, or what? Did I think it was like? Yeah, it was like he didn't even. It's like he wasn't even really trying to get your attention, because if I remember, he didn't tweet at you. He just like took like a screenshot and like quote tweeted it, didn't he?
He just quote tweeted some other tweet.
Yeah. It was random. I did look, at some comments on things, and someone said like, "Oh, a parent never forgets," because if it did have to do with Bronny, then like a parent never forgets that. And
here's the difference. Here's the difference. Okay, this is the disservice he did to his son. Okay, if you don't want your son to be critiqued, okay, if you don't want, like, this is the old man in the arena thing. No one knows, and the reason I can take it is because I've been in the man in the arena. I put myself in front of this fire. I'm okay with it. Like, I'm fine. I'll check clears. I'm good. Okay, kids love me. Family loves me. I have 2 great jobs. Bosses are happy. We're fine. Okay, this too shall pass. But the insecurity in a great player, and well, you can't be critical of my son. He's a professional basketball player. Okay? He went from being a bench player on a bad USC team to being a bench player in the NBA when no one had him evaluated as such. If yes, you
for the Lakers, not just
for the Lakers. For the Lakers. And like, look, dudes make fun of Giannis's brothers all the time. All the time. Okay? Like, you didn't know? You didn't know this is how it's going to be? And, by the way, none of my commentary was unfair. Zero. None of it. So, but the idea that he acts like the parent never, like, this is not like he was playing on a high school team and, in a high school game, like, he stunk last night, or, pick apart there was a video back in the day of him smoking a joint on one of the apps or something. Like, I don't care. Like that. Yeah, I don't go into that stuff. But if you're going to play in the NBA, if you're going to place your son in the arena, if you're going to get drafted in the NBA, if you're going to have J.J. Redick tell the world he had earned that, then yeah, you're going to leave yourself open for criticism. Just like if we don't win during my 5-year contract, I'm going to leave myself open for criticism. It's okay. Like, that's the deal. That's the job. If we don't do a good radio show and we're going to put our voices to it, like, you open yourself up for criticism. Or if you're going to spew facts that are inaccurate, in terms of the reasons for your takes. So I understand this, like, well, Dan Byer said that yesterday. It's his son. It's different. I get it. Okay, we're all my high school coach, who became a great junior college coach, he would always say, like, can't talk to the parents. They're blinded by love. They don't see it. I do understand that. But this is not high school, middle school, AAU. It's not even college. It's the NBA. It's the Lakers. Okay? And if you're not comfortable with that, then maybe don't force him into the NBA. But I have no response for a dude on a day off who's got millions of dollars sitting in L.A. tweeting at me. Other than it wouldn't be on my list of things to do.